it stands for?
No idea.
I don't know.
Do you know what a GMO is or what it stands for?
No.
I have no idea.
No. No idea.
Do you know what GMOs are, what GMO stands for?
Genetically modified organisms.
Genetically modified organisms.
Genetically modified organisms?
Yay! And what does that mean to you?
Does that when it changes around the DNA so that it has properties that it shouldn't? Genetic engineering is the process of transferring specific traits or genes from one organism into a different plant or animal. The resulting organism is called a GMO, or genetically modified organisms. 70% of processed foods in American supermarkets now contain genetically modified ingredients.
Genetic engineering is different from traditional crossbreeding, where genes can only be exchanged between closely related species. With genetic engineering, genes from completely different species can be inserted into each other. About 200 million acres of farmland worldwide are now used to grow genetically engineered crops, such as cotton, corn, soybeans, and rice. The majority of genetically modified crops grown today are engineered to be resistant to pesticides and/or herbicides, so that they can withstand being sprayed with weed killer while the rest of the plants in the field die.
Genetically engineered proponents claim genetically modified crops use fewer pesticides than non-genetically modified crops, when in reality, genetically engineered plants can require even more chemicals.
However, it's not just crops that are being genetically modified, animals are also being affected. Scientists are currently working on ways to genetically engineer farm animals. Salmon have been bioengineered to grow 5 times faster than wild breeds. Hens are being genetically engineered to lay lower cholesterol eggs. And chickens have been altered to produce anti-cancer drugs.
However, at this point in time, no genetically engineered animals have been approved by the FDA to enter the food supply.
I say yes because it offers people more nutrients so they can eat without paying a lot of money.
In crops, they're used to reduce the time it takes for them to grow, and it also makes them bigger, so you get more of a supply. And then they are said to include increased nutrients, yields, and stress tolerance, and that they have a resistance to disease, pests, and herbicides. Now, knowing all this, do you think it is a viable means of feeding the impoverished people of the world?
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
And also, because they are making more of a supply, it's costing less for consumers.
Oh, then yeah, I think it's good.
Would you say the same if you knew that there are incredible human health impacts? The claim that they include more nutrients is not true, and they could possibly be carrying cancerous cells.
Then no, not at all.
And in a more basic sense, it's saying that you're taking, let's say, a tomato, and you're completely changing its molecular structure. So technically, in a scientific sense, it's not still a tomato.
Exactly.
So would you eat it?
No.
I would say yes, but I think using genetically modified organisms will impact the environment because it throws a lot of other crops out of existence and puts a lot of other plants in species decline.
I think when it boils down to it, everything's a moral act in some sense.
In your opinion, is eating a moral act?
Yes and no. I mean, I think the act of providing food for someone who can't easily get it, that is a moral act because you're letting them increase their well-being and they're being fed. So
How about you, Gemma? Is eating a moral act?
Yes, because it impacts so many different people. The workers, which is kind of what my project's about, the environment, yourself, your family.
but eating can make you
Everything.
greedy.
That-
Eating can make you greedy.
yeah.
You just want more food and ruin it for all the people who don't have enough.
Exactly. So in that case, it is not a moral act.
Yep.
It
As
isn't
I
anything.
eat.
Yeah.
It's the point that some people eat to live, others live to eat. I don't think it's necessarily healthy because it's genetically engineered, correct?
Right.
So how can that be good for the body?
There's a lot of pollution that they cause, and there are numerous unknown allergens and other nutritional impacts on the human body.
I agree, because you don't know where the genetically modified gene came from. It could come from another plant, which could be allergic to someone. So there's a lot of risk. In theory, it's a good idea, but I think all sides of the issue must be considered before
Exactly.
making a decision.
Keep an eye out for posters, and we hope you consider writing a letter. We'll have more information for you when you see our PowerPoint.
Absolutely, anything to promote awareness.
Yeah, I'd write a letter.
Yeah, I would love to write a letter.